Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome to another episode of Diet Myths. Today we're going to be talking about a fairly new diet that's been out there. And actually, it's not much of a bad diet. It's new, so it was lumped with the fat diet category, but it's actually a diet that I am willing to consider. So what is this diet? This is the Volumetrics diet. Now, this diet was created by a dietitian in the US, and her name is Barbara Rules. And basically, she said that it doesn't really matter how much you eat. It really matters how much calories is in the food you eat. So you could be eating a small piece of food that has a lot of calories, or you could be eating large amounts of food with little calories. So that's really the focus of her diet, the volumetrics diet. It's the energy density. And basically, energy density is how many calories are in a certain amount of food. So something with a high energy density would have so many calories in a very little amount of food. And something with a low energy density would have very little calories with high amounts of food.
The volumetrics diet is based on the academic theory that no matter what, people tend to eat the same volume or amount of food each day, regardless of total caloric intake. This is great news for us as we can simply choose foods that are less energy dense to fill our plates, thereby eating fewer calories and still feeling full. Low-calorie density foods, mostly fruits and vegetables, contain very few calories per gram, allowing you to eat your desired quantity and still drop weight. For example, an entire pound of carrots contains the same amount of calories as an ounce of peanuts, and by choosing to eat the carrots, you've satisfied your hunger while keeping off the excess calories. All food is divided into 4 groups. Category 1 includes non-starchy fruits and vegetables, non-fat milk, and broth-based soup. Category 2 includes starchy fruits and veggies, grains, breakfast cereals, low-fat meat, legumes, and low-fat mixed dishes like chili and spaghetti. Category 3 includes meat, cheese, pizza, French fries, salad dressing, bread, pretzels, ice cream, and cake. And Category 4 includes crackers, chips, chocolate candies, cookies, nuts, butters, and oil.
So now, how could you get low energy density? Basically, foods that have a lot of water in them. So we're talking about vegetables and fruits. Those are very small in volume, but yet they also pack very little calories. And even if they are large in volume, the calories that they pack are very little. So those would be considered low energy density foods. Now the high energy density foods would be the obvious things, like a pizza. So a slice of pizza will always pack more calories than a slice of just a regular toast or a regular whole wheat bread. So stay tuned, because we're going to talk about how Dr. Barbara Rules looks at this diet plan, how she categorizes food, and what's really interesting is this is one of the few diet plans that allows you to eat everything, and everything in moderation. So because she is a dietitian, she did take a look at all the food groups, and she did divide them up into 4 categories that we're going to be taking a look at. Stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. So let's take a look at these 4 categories that we were talking about. So the first one are the free foods, the foods that you can have unlimited amounts of. You can munch on all day. And these are the foods that have the lowest density. So we're talking about lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, and then lots of brothy soups. So soups that have made with like chicken broth, meat broth, or fish broth, or even a vegetable broth. And they're usually considered like clear soups, soups that, you can see the spoon when you put it in there. And those are the foods you can have unlimited amounts of. Now she has another category where these are foods that you can have reasonable amounts of. So you can eat them, but within reasons. And these include the whole grains, the brown rice, the low-fat dairy, and then, of course, your lean proteins. So you can eat these with reasonable amounts. And with lean proteins, we're leaning more towards things like legumes and beans and lentils and chickpeas. So you can have those reasonably, every now and then, maybe every other meal. And then she goes into the small amounts of foods. And these are foods like the breads, the baked goods, some of the meats like the red meats, and some of the desserts where like not much fat has been used. And then the foods she wants you to use sparingly, which is the fourth category, are things like fats, desserts, and then nuts. And you know, you've probably heard a lot of us say use nuts as snacks, use nuts as snacks. But you need to keep in consideration that nuts have a lot of fat in them. And nuts actually pack a lot of calories in them. So as far as energy density goes, they are very energy dense. They do have good calories and good nutritional value, but you need to be very cautious with eating them. So like I said, she looks at the four categories or the four groups in our food, and she categorizes them based on which ones you can eat a lot of and which ones you can limit, which is a really nice aspect to look at. Now we want you guys to stay tuned because we are going to rate this diet on its effectiveness. Should you follow it or not? Stay tuned. Now let's take a look at the effectiveness of this diet. Like I talked about previously, this diet encompasses all the food groups together. So it allows you to have your dairy, but it recommends having a lower fat dairy. So not a completely skimmed dairy, but a low fat one. It allows you to have protein, and it tells you to choose the lean protein. So things more like fish and chicken, and then legumes and beans and lentils and these things. And then it allows you to have abundant amounts of like fruits and vegetables. So you see that with a diet like this, you're not losing much on minerals or vitamins. You're getting everything you need from all the different food groups, which is great. But the idea is, eat a food that looks like you're eating a lot, but actually the amount of calories in it is very little. So maybe one day you can consider having a salad with very minimal salad dressing. Maybe start measuring out your olive oil. Because although olive oil is a very healthy fat, it's actually a high energy dense type of food because there are so many calories in that 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So these are the things that, you know, they're looking for you to watch out for in this diet. But I really think it's one of like the most maybe promising diets out there because it gives you a variety of foods. It's more of a lifestyle diet. So you might not realize that you're losing weight right away, not like the detox diet or the paleo diet where like you're expected to drop certain amounts of kilos a week. But it is one of those diets where eventually and in the long run, you will be losing weight and you will be feeling healthier and slimmer. They do advise that you participate in physical activity in this diet. And of course, she follows the plan of 3 meals, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2 snacks in between breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then a dessert, which you could have anytime throughout the day. So if you're careful, you see that you're only allowed 1 dessert a day. So it's not dessert after every meal. And your meals can be at any time. A lot of times people say they don't like breakfast, so they delay it. It's fine. There is no specific time for the meals. But she really does focus on eating a lot of food, feeling full when you get off a meal on very little calories. So as you've noticed, there is this trend, and every time we reduce the amount of calories we're eating, we automatically start losing weight. And so that's the idea of a sustainable weight loss program. It's to reduce the amount of calories you're eating and limit them. And then pick and choose where you want to get these calories from, because not all of our calories are created equal. Now, I hope you've learned and benefited from today's episode, and we hope to see you guys soon on another episode.